That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah! What the fuck are you talking about?
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Kicking It Stateside back again. Another actually beautiful Saturday today.
It is. It's a bit cool. It's a bit cool after these last couple days, but it's a beautiful day.
Sunny. It feels good to say that. We're approaching spring, so that means we're getting really down to the nitty-gritty in the Prem here. We got, 12 weeks left here, give or take, depending on how many games each team has played. City sitting at the top, 14 points clear, right? At this point in time, I think United have a game in hand, if I'm correct on that as well. So it's going to be an interesting race. I think the one that we're going to be watching for, though, is the battle for relegation is going to be the big one that we're going to have all eyes on. Speaking of that, just kind of Chris Wilder got fired at Sheffield this week, or he stepped down. I'm sure it was move along now. We've tried this. It was almost like an Eddie Howe situation with Bournemouth. Like, you did enough and you did so much for the club, but it's just not working anymore. They have the lowest points, I think, in Prem history up to this point. Well, they have 2 wins, I think, on the season.
Yeah, it's bad.
So Sheffield and Chris Wilder have parted ways. They look like they're going to be going down. I don't know. I guess their interim's probably somebody on their bench. Also today, we'll probably talk a little bit about the main topic. I've seen this a lot in the headlines online recently about Christian Pulisic, the situation at hand with, at Chelsea, some of the comments and remarks that Tommy Tuchel came out and said and kind of started trolling the media about if he came in and started and played well, he'd be the team captain next year, and kind of like that little the dry German humor that everyone's like, what? I don't know if that's supposed to be funny or like a parting shot at him, or I enjoy it. Time. Obviously, Chelsea played this morning 2-0 draw. Pat Bamford revenge game part 2, and it was 0-0. So typical Chelsea result. It seems like these days they don't give up any goals, but also the offense and everything just looks really lackluster. So today. Do you guys think it was a bad move for Christian Pulisic to sign with Chelsea? Or is this just an overreaction? Is the injuries that's keeping him off the field? It seems like he's been struggling to even stay on the pitch ever since he got to Chelsea. He never really had injury problems at Dortmund, but all of a sudden now it's like not in Tommy Tuchel's plans, it seems. I believe he played today. I don't want to quote myself on that again. I missed it. But I want to say he got in today. And I guess that's the question. Do you think it was a good idea? You think it was a bad idea that he signed with Chelsea? Is this good for his career? Is there another reason why that he might not have is in the plans? Is it injuries? Is it just a run of form? Does he just not fit the system? Maybe it was a big jump from Dortmund to Chelsea. Do you think he needed that bridge gap like some of these players have done? But we'd love to hear what you think. What do you think, man? It's kind of, I guess, as a non-biased Chelsea, but Christian Pulisic, U.S. men's national team fan, that you want to see him succeed and play at the same time.
Well, he did start today, it looks like, and he was pretty unproductive. Obviously, the whole offense was unproductive. a very interesting lineup that they had. Havertz actually started up at striker today. So he
Nice.
and played the full 90. So and they got nothing out of it. So that's that should tell you kind of.
Which is interesting because Kai played pretty well the last game, I thought.
I mean, here's the thing. They still have not lost under Tuchel.
I know.
So no matter what the how much it looks good, how much it looks bad, you know, you go into Leeds and a team that can score, and again, you prevent them from scoring. And you keep another clean sheet. Mendy's consistently looking good since he's gotten back healthy. And, I mean, I don't know what else more you could ask for as either a supporter of or whatever for Chelsea. But looking at it, if I had a new guy come in and we still haven't lost yet, no matter what doesn't look good or what I think needs to be better, I have to be happy with those results.
Yeah, again, it's not flashy whatsoever. It's just they're sitting in kind of. Their shape is great, which is why that they haven't lost. But at the same time, it's nobody's finding the back of the net. You don't have that consistent scoring. Like Drew, he played pretty well in the beginning of the season. Tammy played pretty decent under Frank Lampard, I thought. Mason Mount's been the best player. He's the only one that's been able to put the ball in the net.
See, I think, though, you know, the approach needs to not necessarily be, and that was the problem with this team, is you have guys that can put the ball in the net, but under, you know, Frank Lampard, if you didn't see my joke to Eddie the other day, but I don't call him Lampard because Frank had no D. Because this was clearly a Frank Lampard problem. Because look at there's nobody new. Yeah. There's nobody new. He's starting Christensen. He's starting Rudiger. He's starting Zuma. He's starting Zabaleta. He's starting the same people.
It's the same roster, yeah.
It's the same roster.
That was giving up a lot of goals under Lampard.
And they've been the best defensive team in the Premier League since Tuchel's taken over. Let up the least amount of goals in the Premier League since Tuchel's taken over. So I think the approach needs to be that's a great thing, and now it just needs to be on these players to score goals. You got to take that out of the coach's hands. At some point, it becomes a player issue. Like you guys are there to score goals.
Right.
Our midfielders and forwards are supposed to shoot the ball. You're supposed to get the ball in the net. The defense is doing their job. The coach is doing his job. Now it's up to everybody else to connect it. But I would take the lack of goal scoring for the results all day compared to my team, you know, coming out and scoring 2 to 3 goals a game, but still losing 4-3. And I mean, you guys are drawing, but you're doing enough. You're sitting in 4th place. You're fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's from where we were at with Frank Lampard, it's kind of night and day. And, you know, imagine if they just were stringing, you know, some of these draws into wins. You could be talking about them, you know, shooting up into 2nd, for God's sakes.
Yeah. Imagine if you actually came out and showed up on Boxing Day and beat a bad Arsenal team at the time. You know,
Frank might still be,
really, yeah.
Frank might still be in charge.
He might still be the coach. Yeah.
But yeah,
you know,
it's I think it's kind of an overreaction. I think the guy still has a lot to play, like a lot more in the tank. He's only like 22 years old.
Yeah. But that's my thing. I don't think it was a bad signing for him to go there, but do I necessarily think he should stay there anymore? Maybe not. Like maybe it's time for another move. Yeah. Maybe it is time to go to, you know, Spain. Maybe I think Madrid would give him a shot.
It's like he went from Dortmund, played well, you know, obviously the Bundesliga is, I hate to say it, but on its kind of downslope the past few years for sure. as far as competition goes.
Got
And
the
then he
Bayern
makes-
pants on.
Of course. And then he makes this big jump to the Prem, which, like we've said for a lot of players, not just him, it's hard. It's a really tough transition. And, I had his stats up. Last year, he played 25 times, 9 goals, 4 assists, right?
He had a phenomenal year last year.
Great year. This year, injuries obviously got him a little bit. He's played 19 games, 1 goal, 1 assist only. So the stats are down. And does he try to do too much sometimes? Because he'll try to dribble through 2-3 guys because he's so direct that he feels like he needs to do it all himself when he really doesn't.
I think that is part of his issue. Yes. I think he gets a little selfish, per se. I think the other issue sometimes with him is obviously the injuries.
Yeah. I mean, I think
when you're constantly playing in and out with injuries, it does become kind of tough to kind of get fit, to get going. I think the change of coaching doesn't help. Again, I said it before. We know he had a relationship with Tuchel previously at Dortmund, and it didn't seem. But you don't know how certain guys feel about certain guys sometimes. Even inside, you might see it, and they might put on a persona or whatever just for the fact that he's the coach and he's the player. But these guys may not have that same kind of love and respect for each other like you might think they would just because they played for each other before.
Right.
So that could be weighing on him, obviously, now. And sometimes maybe just a change of scenery.
Yeah. I mean, it's been done. It's happened before. It's just to pinpoint it's so hard because you don't know, again, what's going on behind the scenes. And again, I think, like Lord Walker said, at the time, it seemed like the right move. He was playing. He played great last year. I mean, that goal against, what was it, City, where he just was slicing up their defense. He sliced up 4 guys.
Oh, he was phenomenal. Yeah.
We're thinking oh my God, this dude is the real deal. He's actually doing it for Chelsea because that was the big thing.
He was leading the team. He was actually leading that team last year in that run that they went on. And
now it's kind of again, it's some of these guys that were brought in. I mean, it's Kai Havertz barely playing. Ziyech has barely played, and he seems to be struggling to adapt to the Prem, it seems like.
Well, that's part of your problem, too, is you're adding a whole bunch of new pieces and guys he's not played with. Certain guys are more comfortable playing with certain guys sometimes, too. I mean, it's just a whole...
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's the injury that's been the biggest key to him not playing. But again, the coaching change, it's under Frank, he was, showing up well. And then you figure under Tuchel with their, past history at Dortmund, that maybe, he'd have a little bit of that advantage going in. But Tuchel's not that type of guy, as we've seen. He's
like I said, maybe they didn't. You don't know if they actually really liked each other.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of on Christian's way out, and Tuchel, it was the same thing. He had some good years at Dortmund, and then it got kind of sour for pretty much every soccer coach out there. But I just think that the injuries is the biggest thing, and he just has to find a way to – you got to work hard under Tuchel, and you got to be able to play two ways. You got to be able to track back.
That's what I was going to say. Here's my issue. I hope it's not the case, but it wouldn't surprise me if Christian Pulisic acts like a stereotypical spoiled American kid. Entitled American 22-year-old who's been the guy everywhere he's gone his whole life, and has never had to face any adversities, never had to face major challenges, and now he's getting a little kickback and a challenge, and maybe he's not stepping up to it. I don't know, but like, you have to just hope that that's not the case, or hope that that's not how he's viewed. Right. It might not even be that that's the case, but that might be how he's viewed in certain people's eyes, especially a guy like Tuchel. So, and maybe Tuchel's words kind of put it out there. He said if he shows up and works hard and da-da-da-da, he could be the captain, which means he knows he's incredibly talented.
Right.
That's not the question. It's maybe he's not putting the work in that he expects a guy with his talent to put in. Because Lord Walker, you can sit there and say no all you want. You've been around the game plenty, that there's a ton of freaking guys in any sport that have a ton of talent that don't work hard. And they waste that talent. And I just hope that's not the case. Because I'm the one who's dubbed him Captain America. I dubbed him Captain America a long time ago into the beginning of this show. I like the kid. I think he's great. I think our U.S. success relies on Christian Pulisic becoming a veteran leader, leading this young core of players that we have. But I need to see him do that now. It felt like he was starting to do that last year with Chelsea, and then all of a sudden things got a little rough. And now, look at the results. Like you said, 19 games, 1 goal, 1 assist. It's not like he hasn't gotten time. He's gotten some time. He hasn't gotten a ton under Tuchel yet, but he's gotten opportunities this year, and he hasn't done much with them. So I don't know. Like I said, it's just those are things I fear. I'm not calling him out. I'm not saying anything like that. I just hope that's not the case.
And we talked about this last year. Remember, was it the Canada game that he got subbed out and he was like seen pouting on the bench kind of because he knew he was way better than that? And we're like, is this how he acts? Or was he just the normal athlete just frustrated because he knew he's better than what he was showing out on the field? And we had that debate, like, is he that type of guy? And then after that, he shut us all up and had a fantastic season with Chelsea.
He did.
So I don't know. I think it's an overreaction. I think we need to chill out. The guy is a young kid trying to just be healthy. This Chelsea team as a whole hasn't been healthy. I don't think we've seen a full squad ever. I know now that, Ziyech is back and Pooley's coming in, but Hudson-Odoi is a lot more threatening than Pulisic, and then he deserves to play. And Mason Mount, you can't take him off the field.
Yeah.
So it's the wrong guys you thought he was going to be competing with. You thought he was going to be competing with Ziyech, and it seems like Callum Hudson-Odoi seems to be ahead of him on the pecking order.
Looks like we got some Chelsea love in the chat this morning too.
You throw the Chelsea hashtag up on YouTube. The Chelsea people call. Love it. Welcome in. Alder lads. Rudiger, man of the match. He defended good, attacked when needed, covered diabolical Chilwell. Too much responsibility for one player. He's another guy that's kind of revamped his stock under Tuchel. He was like odd man out. I feel like Frank Lampard did not like him very much.
That German love. He shows him that German love, man. It does make a difference. Yeah, guys don't understand. Like when you get a guy that's come in that's from the same country as you, he speaks the same language as you, he eats the same food as you, probably. Like that's a legit thing, man. More guys are comfortable in those situations, and then some guys get bounced out in other situations. It does. Honestly, right now it looks like Chilwell's kind of stealing a little bit of money. They paid pretty good chunk of change for him, and honestly, your boy Alonso's kind of looked better at times.
I know. I hate admitting that too.
Yeah, and Harry here. We got another Chelsea guy here. It looks like Harry. He's saying the same thing. And
terrible.
Yes, Lord Walker. I know. I told you I'm not trying to put that on. I know we're shaking that The whole goal, I want to shake it. That's why I'm here. I want to shake that. I don't want people to, but like players like this, when things like this happen, it kind of brings it to the forefront. Like that's the only issue, especially when they're playing at big clubs, because then it's kind of seen even more.
What's up, Andy? What answer is going to start the most arguments? I would say saying that it was a bad move might scrounge up some fun.
Yeah, agree. I might agree. I'm not going to agree because it's not a bad signing because what it's already had done for the Pulisic signing is the reason Weston McKennie's at Juve. You know what I mean? It's the reason Pulisic doing what he did at Chelsea last year is why all these guys are in Europe right now, to be honest with you. Because everybody wants to find the Pulisic. And then, like, Reno comes in, and he's doing so good at a young age at Dortmund, and he's starting to get some publicity. But, like, Pulisic's the catalyst, I feel like, of the last couple years. Like
he's paved the way for the recent guys, for sure.
Yeah, like his success at Dortmund and then to go to Chelsea and then get in, and next thing you know, like, we talked about it when the move happened, like, we were very fresh into our show when he was very fresh into his Chelsea career. And it was like, is this guy actually going to break into Chelsea's lineup? Is he going to make a difference in Chelsea's lineup? And it took a while, and we single-handedly, like, those 9 goals were huge late goals late in the season that helped Chelsea propel themselves back to Champions League play. Because they weren't a Champions League team last year. They were out of the top 6 even for a while again last year. And they went on that run. And he was a big part of it. So,
I mean, yeah, he had a good season last year. I mean, granted, he did have a hat trick against Burnley, I believe, last year that makes those stats, look a little more than it actually was. But he had a good season.
Yeah, but he scored a couple goals in other play too. Because remember, we had that one question: will he score 10 that year?
Yeah,
and then we went back and forth between the Prem and overall, and he did get over 10 overall, and he just fell shy for the Prem. So, yeah, he had a significant season last year for a 20. What was he? 21, 22 at the time.
Yeah, he's 22 right now.
He's 22 now, so he was playing probably at 21 last year. American kid at Chelsea. I mean, that's a big thing.
Yeah, he did have 10 goals, I think, on the dot last year. He did score 1 in Champions League.
Is that what it was? Just 1 in Champions League?
Yeah.
I thought he had 1 in like a cup game or some shit too.
But yeah, I see a lot of Chilwell hate. He must not have had a great game. And I like Benny.
Yeah.
I really want to like him, but I mean,
how many Americans can you name now to pump Pulisic back up? Because I was, how many Americans can you name in the last 15 to 20 years that have gone to a huge club in Europe and scored double-digit goals in a season? Like,
yeah,
at 22 years old, at 21 years old.
Yeah,
really exactly. That's
you can't.
That's how good. Yeah, that's how good he is. That's how good he is.
Harry said that Chelsea should have got Reguilon instead of Chilwell. I mean, you can't say you can say that right now. Like, Chilwell did it in the Prem for Leicester, so they figured,
right,
easy transition. Reguilon's coming from La Liga, where it's like, all right, we'll see how he is. And granted, he's I think João Cancelo has actually played really well coming into the Prem.
The entire Premier League should have signed freaking Ruben Diaz. He's been like the best center back in the league. So
basically, if there's like a Portuguese player that might not be too crazy, highly rated, they're going to be good.
At this point, yeah. If you're Portuguese, you're about to get paid just off that fact. I feel like that's going to be the new hot craze all of a sudden again.
And now that makes Portugal probably. ESPN had that dick sucking article about how Portugal, look at all these guys they have coming up for the Euros. It's like, yeah, and you left off a bunch of guys on that team. Only their starting goalie from the last 10 years you left off. in Rui Patricio, who's probably, besides Ronaldo, he's probably captain. Or if Pepe, the old man, actually is. But yeah, I thought this was a good poll question because it's going to stir the debate. And Chelsea fans, especially, I'm sure, especially if you're English as well and you live in London, you probably hear all the goss, as Lord Walker says, and all the rumblings of the British media, what they're saying about our dear Captain America. So, and he got the start today. Looks like he didn't do much. But I'm not worried, to put that out there. I'm not that worried. I think everything will be fine. If he moves, so be it. I wouldn't say it would be a disappointing career at Chelsea if it ended like right now. Not maybe the way he would have wanted it, but he showed some things. But I just think he's better than going off to La Liga right now at 22. Like, he started at the Prem. There's nowhere to go from there.
Yeah, well, I mean, but if it's Madrid, I mean, if it's part of the Madrid rebuild that needs to happen, and he's a key piece to it, then that would be all. Like, again, that's just a good thing for American soccer. If they're like, hey, we're going to bring him in, and he's one of these, because that's definitely what's coming with that team. That team is going to get completely rebuilt, I think, very soon. I think there's going to be a lot of movement in those big PSG and Barcelona and all that. I mean, I think there's going to be other opportunities there for him, and I just hope that he doesn't get buried in a bad situation here. And if it is going to be, if Tuchel's getting results and Tuchel's going to be the guy, because the way I look at it, Roman's probably said, hey, you know what? I sold a lot of Pulisic jerseys in the U.S. I'm good now. Like, I can move on from him because Lord Walker said that earlier. He doesn't care about his coaches. He doesn't care about his players. So he made a big buck. I think everybody that owns a Pulisic jersey owns one already. And now, he's like, all right, this toy can go. I'll bring in something else. I could probably get a few dollars for him.
Well, some of these soccer clubs, they're not dumb. Like, they see that the American market is growing. Yeah. And they see that, if there's American on your team, it's just going to grow your squad as it is. Like, I know there's probably a lot of already Chelsea fans in the U.S., along with probably United as probably top 2, I would say, in the United States as far as fan base. But, like, United never really had – I mean, Tim Howard played at United, like, very little in his career. But other than that, there hasn't really been an American at United. Yeah,
but everybody loved David Beckham.
True. That kind of started it. Eddie said, disagree. Pulisic has been great last season, and his play style has improved. He need to have him get the trust from Tuchel. Yeah, it seems like that's the thing. You got to gain Tuchel's trust. I mean, we've seen it with Cho. We talk about it ad nauseum how, he pulled him out after subbing him on. He yanks him 30 minutes into his into play. And, you get the eye rolls from Tammy and Cho on the bench. And now, we see Tammy not doing anything. I don't know if he played today, but his playing time has been pretty much nothing under Tuchel after that was kind of.
Your subs today were Timo, Callum, and Reece James.
All right. And he's probably saving Timo for Atletico on whatever, Tuesday or Wednesday, the Champions League.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that was part of coming into today. You only have a 1-0 lead going into this Atletico game. It could go any type of way. So obviously, being down 1-0, Simeone's going to have to push this time around. He
right
can't
into
sit
Tuchel's
back.
hands because he's just going to extra defensively.
Yeah, so that's actually going to be a really interesting game coming up this week when we will talk about some Champions League, obviously, too, that has happened, and the stuff that we got coming up into this week as well.
Lord Walker, American bias, Pirlo. Yeah. And the old thing that Americans are lazy and whatnot and don't want to work and all that fun stuff. But I think Pulisic has proven that he can ball with the best in the Premier League, and he deserves a little bit of credit. I know his ego is probably pretty high from being this wonder kid since he was a young guy. That's just kind of how – I mean, if I'm the best at something at age like 17, I'm feeling pretty good. But I think he needs – maybe he does need to get knocked down a peg. I don't know him. Lord Walker seems like he at least like knows a little bit – about, you know, his work rate and all this other stuff, what kind of kid he is. But we'll see. You know, I think today he got an opportunity. Maybe he didn't take it. And, you know, is that a bad thing or is that a good thing? I don't know. Did he show enough? Tuchel's, you know, Germans aren't one to, you know, hide their hand. They're pretty much going to say what they feel. So,
yeah.
I don't know. Harry also said, was this Lookman is playing better than Pulisic. I like Lookman. The Fulham guy? Talk about he can't finish either, though. He's been shit around the goal. Tuchel's trust. Tuchel still thinks of his role being one of the players for Germany. I don't think Tuchel, he has watched Chelsea because Pulisic is one of their best players. I think he was. I haven't seen it this year. I don't know. He's not as dynamic, I don't think, this year as he was last year. Just from the eye test.
Yeah, and that was some of that was under Frank too. It hasn't. Yeah. He hasn't even really played much under Tuchel, so it's like you can't even tell how he's going to play in the system too well yet. But he hasn't got the opportunities. Obviously, today he got subbed off, so and they didn't get anything out of it. So I mean, I don't know. Leeds isn't necessarily known for their defensive prowess.
I think there's that, you know, narrative that Pulisic, you know, the Dortmund thing with Klopp that would work out, but I don't see where he fits in with the Liverpool team. He's not going to start for like Salah or Mane. There's no way. I don't care if Liverpool stinks right now. He's still not going to do it.
Go to Spain.
Yeah.
Go to Bayern.
What's up, Dales?
Go to Bayern, Christian.
No. Don't pull like any good player that Dortmund's had and do the because Louis still giving us the middle finger to the day.
Oh yeah, he scored again today. They're up 3-0.
Guy's ridiculous.
Goretzka, Gnabry, Lev. Let's go.
He's only getting better over time.
And guess who else scored today?
Who?
Another German, Zokdran Mustafi, in his own net. Oh yeah, in his own net. They're down 4-0, Schalke. So
yeah, they're getting relegated.
Yeah.
You hate to see it.
Oh man.
As a Dortmund fan, I actually love it, but I feel bad for them because they're going to get in trouble with finances pretty bad.
Oh, they're going to get hurt real bad.
But yeah, today always show sponsored by Specialized Physical Therapy, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. The good doc, our doc, Paul Vidal. It's that time of year, like we've been saying. Spring is right around the corner. We're setting our clocks forward tomorrow here in the U.S. We're going.
Yeah.
We're losing an hour. Damn it.
Spring ahead.
Yes. Again, they're doing these pre-assessments for the kids now that, you know, baseball is going to be starting up. If you're playing spring soccer, you could go to Specialized Physical Therapy. He'll give you, you know, if you're not doing a certain thing right, stretching. You know, as a young kid, like I said, if I knew some of this stuff, like how to stretch properly, and, you know, I wouldn't be, you know, having Tommy John surgery right now if I threw a baseball. Also, you could do stuff online. You could have a free consultation online if you're not comfortable with going in to said 2 locations in Burlington and in Cherry Hill. Again, that's specializedphysicaltherapy.com. He is our doctor. Make him yours. That's our boy.
Sure. Yeah. What's up, Doc? Hope all is well.
Yeah.
I was reading that. Sorry.
Yeah, Harry. Well, Lord Walker. I think that I could see that. Like, if he goes,
if it's all about money, that's where he's going.
Right.
Because even
though I think Roman is sitting in, Russia, just like, yes, like, I will throw whatever it takes to bring him in.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If it's all about money, it's Chelsea or City. If it's about anything else, then we'll see. They just named Odegaard Norway's captain.
Did they?
So maybe if Odegaard extends that loan at Arsenal, him and his buddy might want to play a little club soccer together too.
Oh, God.
Get a new owner in. I don't know. I mean,
that's a pipe dream.
It's quite the pipe dream, but I'm going to have it. Hey, he looked good. He scored his first Arsenal goal.
I did see that.
On Thursday. That was nice. That was nice to see. So I'm hopeful that's my only link and only hope that Arsenal has to Erling Haaland, because at the end of the day, Roman and the oil guys are pretty much the 2 favorites, I would say. Chelsea's not going to put up that or Liverpool's not going to put up that kind of money for him. So definitely. I told you, Liverpool's going to sneak in and get Timo after they wanted Timo. They're going to get Timo for probably half the price you paid for Timo from you when you need that extra money to go get Haaland. So don't be surprised if something like that happens.
I could see it happening unless Timo starts banging in goals.
Yeah, because Timo clearly doesn't look like he wants to play anywhere but up top.
He wanted to go to Liverpool the whole time. That was his only team of choice, and Liverpool was not willing to put that money up. So he's like, oh, no, what's his next best team that's just putting the money up? Oh, Chelsea, I will go there. Sure.
Yeah.
I was think rating Pulisic so harshly while Timo and Kai, who are also started today, are far behind Pulisic in development.
I did not say that. I said they're all none of it's been good. Timo's the only one who showed anything and hasn't really been in the Prem. It's been in other play. He scored in Champions League, which we've seen he can score in Champions League before Chelsea. But
I think Timo and Kai just can't even get out of their own way, because Kai even that goal he scored, the own goal, I guess.
Yeah,
it's like even the ones he sees goes in the back of the net, they're getting called own goals. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's odd to see him starting kind of up top today. That was
He played that same kind of role against Everton though, and he looked pretty good.
Yeah.
So he felt like maybe rolling him out there again. Except Leeds, it's like Leeds is such a different team from home and away, though. Yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
Sidebar, thank God.
Not to get torn on that, because as a sport guy and athlete, you never want to see anybody get hurt. Like when I saw that, I was like, damn, like this guy's having a phenomenal year. You never want to see that happen. But as a hater, there was a little like,
you're like good.
I was like, not on him as a man, not on him as a man, as like that. I mean, that would be the end of the Sixers season. So
yeah, no doubt. That's why everyone.
Yeah. But I'm glad that the prayers did work, and it seems that it's just. I think I heard early this morning it was like a bone bruise.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah, so not to get off topic, but we don't ever want to see anybody get career-ending injuries. So
the British guys are like, I don't care about your NBA.
Hey, in general, prayers. I think what Tom's saying is the prayers work, man.
Oh, they always do.
Send a prayer, send a good thought.
Good vibes, man. You're just putting those positive vibes out there.
We need more and more positive vibes, and that was an awesome display last evening on A2D. So
absolutely. So there is a game going on currently. Since we talked a little bit about the game this morning, Palace is hosting West Brom. Palace is up 1-0 on a Milivojevic penalty. We're in the 52nd minute right now. So a typical Palace West Brom battle to a 1-0 win. Or West Brom's going to get a late one, and it's going to be very Palace-like. Yeah. And West Brom stinks. So there's that.
Oh, they're bad. They're right there at the bottom. I mean, they're only 4 points clear of Sheffield, man.
It's going to get interesting with the whole. Even Newcastle's been terrible.
So the way it sits right now, like you said in the beginning of the show, we got two things to really watch for in the Prem going forward. Because again, even though United got points back on City's not collapsing. I don't think. I don't think there's enough left in the season for them to pull that kind of collapse. They're playing way too well. They're way too deep, as Lord Walker said 1,000,000 times. So our watch right now is top 4, top 5, and the bottom. Mm-hmm. And then obviously the championship as well to see who's going to be rejoining. Sheffield and West Brom.
You pretty much kissed that goodbye.
Yeah, there's nothing in either of their plays of recent either that shows that that's changing. Again, maybe Sheffield gets a little manager bump with a new manager coming in, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. I guess that's their goal. Maybe they'll sign who is it? Nigel Pearson.
God.
Actually, I think he got a job. He got it. I think somebody was telling me.
I think he's at Bristol City now.
Yeah. Eric said that the one day, and I'm like, really?
Yeah, because they were
yeah,
they were sucking, and then they won like 4 out of their first like 5 games under him. So Bristol City was rising. Yeah, but you
can put those two out. Let's just say they're out for the sake of argument. Now you got Fulham at 26 points. Yep. You got Brighton at 26 points, and you have Newcastle at 28, and even probably include Burnley at 30. That's your 4 right there that are kind of vying for that final.
Newcastle got super lucky yesterday with that draw.
I was going to say, out of all of them, I think Newcastle's probably playing the worst of recent.
Yeah. Fulham's
Brighton has bad moments.
Good-ish.
Yeah, I know it was hard to say good, but like I know what you mean. Like they're even in like everything's been tight. It's been like 1-0, 1-1, 2-1. Like they're in every game, win or lose. They've been in every game, and they've won a few games. They freaking beat Liverpool. I mean, I know it's a different Liverpool, but they did. I mean, they went to Anfield. They won a game. Like
I'm sure we'll. Is Lord Walker? Did he say he wanted to come on? We're going to bring him on at some point.
We can. I mean, the weirdest thing was we said like. This was the week, right? Like we weren't going to react yet. We wanted to see what happened this week. We get off the air. The next day, they freaking lose again at home to Fulham. Fulham.
Ouch, babe.
Right? But then they come back and they beat Leipzig handily, like in Champions League, and they're moving on to the next round. So it's like you still can't really pass the judgment yet. No. And I think it goes back to what Klopp said when he called the guys out and was like, yo, if you're only here to play for Champions League, then you can leave. Again, it looked like this week they were only there to play for Champions League. So it's I mean, who's he calling out? It's got to be directed at somebody, maybe. Are there certain people that he's kind of guiding that towards?
We've seen managers just start spewing at the mouth and not actually saying who it's about. They're just like, but I feel like that person knows exactly who it's about.
Oh, they should, and if they don't, they're a bigger problem than you could even imagine.
They're just that oblivious, like, what?
Yeah, there's guys that are like that.
I wouldn't doubt it. Eddie says Gerrard leaves Rangers. I wouldn't mind Brighton. Ah. So you want Graham Potter to take over Rangers? Is that what you're saying? I like Graham Potter.
Manager swap.
I think that'd be actually pretty sweet. Stevie G starts out at Brighton, but
I was gonna say I don't know if Brighton's problems have ever been Graham Potter. They're sitting 17th in the table, but they are -8 in goal differential, which is so minor compared to everybody else in the bottom half, probably from 13 down in the table. Because they're not a bad team, they just don't have anybody. They don't get anybody. They don't add anybody. They're not just lacking a striker; they're lacking a lot of things.
But their defense isn't that bad, though. Like
their defense isn't bad, but yeah. But like, is Louis Dunk that good, or is Graham Potter just a pretty good coach who knows how to coach defensively and use what he has, and pray to God that he stays in the top league?
Louis Dunk is a decent player. I think Dan Byrne is a just journeyman guy who's in a good system. I think Ben White's a solid youngster. I think Lamptey is a solid youngster, and ever since
Lamptey's legit.
Ever since he's gotten hurt, they've kind of started going.
Yeah, Arsenal's
down
been
the table.
Linked a little bit to Lamptey, so I like Lamptey.
And again, that was a decision that either Frank Lampard or Roman Abramovich made. They valued Reece James over Tyreek Lamptey, so they felt like they had to sell either one of the two. And it's looking like Lamptey is a pretty damn good right back.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but again, Brighton, they just never been able to score. They're relying on Adam Lallana to come in and be the saving grace. This isn't 6 years ago when Adam Lallana's banging in goals at Southampton. Like, those days are past. And they brought in Danny Welbeck to Brighton, and he stinks too.
The Liverpool feeder club?
Exactly. You can't hack it there.
Another Southampton player that went to Liverpool? Oh, yeah.
It happens.
We talk poorly about Bayern having their own feeder. I mean, they have a whole league.
Yeah.
But
you just got
they get an entire league. I guess Liverpool just has one team. I guess it is a little different. Sorry.
It's a slight difference. One team that develops, the Southampton Academy is like world known as, you're getting your Lallanas,
and they're all good deals. That's the thing. Every one of them is a favorable deal. Look what Liverpool paid for Van Dijk. Look what
Did Mane come from Southampton too?
We have the guy on here that could answer that. I think he may have. Yeah, a lot of guys came through Southampton.
I mean, you see, Theo Ox, I think, was a Southampton guy. Hey, Luke Shaw was a Southampton guy.
For Southampton, it's a great business plan because they've yet to go down either. They continuously do just enough. Again, remember when they were legit a top 6 team earlier this year and they were playing like it, and now I look at the table and they're sitting in 14th.
It's amazing what those run of games, if you don't win, you start to really see it. Well, their problem was they had zero confidence. They were giving up 7 goals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gregory, good morning from Florida. I disagree to the poll. It might not have worked out soccer-wise, but need to make the jump. Yeah. At the time, we can't say it now because, there's a little bit of, animosity there, but you have to say it was a good move.
Well, that's exactly what I was saying before. Like, is it looking good at the moment? No, but the move as a whole was a good move.
It has to be. Oh, Greg's in Texas.
Oh, were you visiting Redder?
That'd be a fun little duo. What else we got today? We do have Champions League to get into. We have 4 teams that are through to the next round of 8. We got Dortmund. They got through. They beat Sevilla just barely. Of course, Erling Haaland, like we mentioned, just carrying this team. in all facets of the game. Without him, Dortmund would be just a piss poor team. Who else we got? PSG, they held on at home to beat Barcelona, but you kind of figured that was going to happen. That would have taken a miracle for Barcelona to even do anything on that end. Obviously, we mentioned Liverpool got through again 4-0 on the two-legged aggregate, beating Leipzig again. So they're through. But the shocker of it all, of this first four,
definitely most exciting so far,
Porto knocking out Juve, and Juve again underperforming in Champions League. And the Portuguese giants are through, and Juve bows out again to a lower-end squad like they did last year when they got bounced by Lyon, I believe. So
does that mean one more?
Come on, man.
Does that mean one more stop?
Yeah.
He's gonna make one more stop, right? Where's it gonna be?
MLS.
Yeah. Maybe he'll go to Porto. Maybe he'll just go to Portugal and be like, "You took me out. I'll go to Porto."
He just joins. He pulls a Kevin Durant. He's like, "Hey, if you can't beat him, join him."
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I actually, when that happened, I was kind of pumped because I'm like, you know what? Another exit like that, I was like, that's one more stop. That guarantees it. If it wasn't going to happen anyway, like that definitely guarantees it.
I didn't see that. Oh my God! Hey, Texas, baby.
Everything's bigger in Texas, right?
Eddie's talking about his Rangers. Hey, you guys. I was worried. I feel like you actually played a good team in Slava Prague, and you did okay.
Yeah, you got a road goal and tied 1-1.
You held your
and
own.
Now you get to go home, and you are going to have to endure a just probably gut-wrenching 90 minutes.
And
hopefully you come out on the positive end, but like that is not going to be like as a supporter, like that's an awesome game to watch, but then it's also like not a fun game to watch because you're literally going to have that knot in your stomach the entire
I love a good
time.
knockout game. It's the best.
Yeah, unless you come out and you get a nice jump on a nice lead somehow, and that's really not the team to do it against. That's going to be a tough one. That's going to be definitely a tough watch. So not as good as my team, who got 3 road goals and are going home with a little bit of comfort.
I think that's pretty wrapped up.
I switched where they were. It's been good luck, so I'm just gonna leave that there now.
Rolling.
We're gonna leave that there now.
We'll get into some of the weekend's games in a little bit.
Just to go over anything else in Europa. Since we were talking about it, I guess.
Well, United tied Milan, AC Milan.
Yeah, that was one that people might be interested in. That's 1-1 going into the second leg. And obviously Spurs got their freaking win against their
they're gonna walk away with the big win in that.
Yeah, that's fine, but we'll see if they get that this weekend.
And Ajax destroyed Young Boys.
Ajax did. They just went all in on Young Boys.
I know in our group chat is Young Boys, a lot of Young Boy love. The team.
The team. FC. Young Boy.
What does that
FC.
say about what does that say about the German Bundesliga though? Like Young Boys beat Leverkusen, who's not like a terrible team. And now Ajax beat Young Boys 3-0 pretty handily.
Ajax.
It's making me very nervous for the German Bundesliga. That's all I'm saying.
It is. It's not the best league. I mean, it is.
It's not.
It's one of those. Bayern's good.
Bayern's very good, and they're only going to get better.
I know. Roma won 3-0. They beat Shakhtar. So
I saw Mickey was starting up top in like a false 9.
Gotta love him. Reborn Mkhitaryan, just loving that Italian cooking, I guess.
I mean,
the Armenian. I guess there's certain countries again. Like these guys are from like a lot of different countries, and there's certain countries guys are more comfortable in. Mkhitaryan couldn't play in certain games and certain tournaments because he wasn't allowed in that country.
Yeah.
Or didn't, maybe he was allowed, but didn't know if he would ever get out of that country. Like, that's real talk. Like, guys don't understand that about this sport. Like, he literally couldn't travel with the team because they're like, hey, we don't have enough security to protect your life because you just happen to be from another country that these guys don't like.
So true.
Like, our athletes, you know, they don't realize how hard some of these guys have it in certain situations. So, but yeah, he's definitely been reborn there, man. He's playing really well for Roma. I don't think there's really anything else. Nothing else really mentioning. Villarreal's actually, I like Villarreal winning because they got 2 road goals, and the chance of the Villarreal Arsenal game is still going to be possible. So. Yes, Eddie, it's very sad. It's very, very sad.
Super sad. And I like Mickey. He was great at Dortmund. He was fantastic. And then he, kind of bit off more than he could chew, I feel. Biba B. Pulisic was different. He was a young kid, not much tape on the guy, just coming in and doing his thing. Like, he had to prove himself. He did. Made a name for himself at such a young age, and he made the right decision for himself, I think. So,
and I think we just said the competition's different,
right? And again, that's a tale to Gio Reyna.
Yeah,
think about your future, where you want to go. Do you want to go the Prem route? Maybe you want a bridge gap, because if Dortmund doesn't make Champions League next year, they're going to lose a lot of money.
I think you need to find more bridge gaps for a lot of these guys. I think some of these guys want to jump too quick sometimes, and it can't hurt in this sport. Even if it's like a year. A lot of times in this sport, it only has to be a year.
Yeah.
Jump to another team, hop on, not even in like a loan from whatever, and just kind of work against some different competition and continue to work on your...
You're allowed to go to different places, like... Look at Traore. I mean, he wasn't rated very highly at Chelsea. He goes to France, proves himself, does well, comes back to Villa, makes a pretty good name for himself. I know he got hurt yesterday, smashed his ribs on the end board. That's looking like some broken ribs for him. That sucks. But, some of these guys need to, they might start. Like Pulisic's 22. He might start. He might go to another league, kill it, and come right back. It's been done before. Oh yeah,
there's so many. The beauty of this sport is there's so many outlets. Mm-hmm. Look at Mo Salah. Mo Salah was completely written off.
Was not rated at Chelsea at all.
Was not rated at Chelsea at all. He goes to Roma. Again, another guy, goes to Roma. And he starts to play better, but like. You didn't see the Mo Salah that just ran through Champions League in Liverpool over the last 2 years in that Mo Salah 5 years ago, 6 years, whatever, how long ago that was. So guys can just, sometimes it really depends on where you go, and the coach you get around can make a huge difference. The culture you get around can make a huge difference. Within the team and the country. I mean, all those things can make a difference. So, welcome. Timo, 1 goal in 19 games. Werner Morata has more goals than... Yeah.
Mr. Alvaro, I'm always offsides Morata.
Yeah.
He has like 5 offsides a game.
Yeah, and he still has more goals than Timo.
Yeah, it's a sore subject with the old Timo. Hopefully, this is just a warming up period. But for the money that Chelsea paid for him, he needs to score more than 1 goal. You got to score more than 1.
I have to say, I'm really enjoying this YouTube traffic today.
Is it the Chelsea? It's the Chelsea love. You throw Chelsea out there, and I did put Messi in one of the poll questions as well. That tends to gravitate people towards the talk.
Again, we want to welcome everybody that's just joining us who may not know anything about us, but We are Kickin It Stateside on A2D Radio. We've been doing this now for a little bit of time. And Adam, big Chelsea guy, me an Arsenal guy. We're just here to talk about the game we love. We talk about the Prem mostly, but we talk about everything. And we welcome you with your comments if there's certain things you want to talk about in the game and around the world of the game. It's an open platform, and we kind of welcome everything. So please check out A2D on all social medias, at A2D Radio, hashtag A2D, and obviously Kicking It Stateside. Adam and I run all the social medias for that as well. So again, welcome to the show.
Murata came in Champions League. Yeah. I mean, I remember when we got Murata, that was like, yes, he's the bright young Spanish kid just banging in goals. Because that was like almost like, it's like you started out with the Diego Costas, just a pit bull out there, just out for blood. And then you kind of transition into like Murata, who again, was he given a fair shake? To be debated on that, but
he's inconsistent. He's just an inconsistent player.
Yeah, there's no question about that.
He has been at Juve too. He's just he was at Atletico.
Yeah. And that is who he is, and you kind of know.
It is one of my favorite goal scoring celebrations, though. The arrow to the arrow to the sky. That's
the Usain Bolt action.
Yeah, man. So. I'll never hate on Murata. He really his timing just sucks. Like his foot timing is just really bad. He gets caught offside way too much.
He just gets anxious.
Like I would tell a striker when I'm coaching them though. If you're not getting caught offsides on occasion, then you're not working hard enough to try to make runs and score goals. But like at some point you have to be on sides. Like I'll let really one or two go, but after a while, like you gotta get one on sides. Like
it's like 2, okay, 6 in a game.
Yeah, that's
You're all right, man. Hold the line a little bit. Watch. Keep an eye on your defender. You're straying too far here, bud.
Yeah, like be able to touch him. Like you got to be able to reach out and. Guys, a lot of strikers don't get that. Like I tell strikers all the time, I say your defender knows where you are. You have to know where you're like that guy knows where you are 100% of the time if he's a good defender. You have to know the same. You can't just be running around there having no clue where this guy is, because that means he's owning you all game.
I know, and that's kind of the same because Murata wants to get in behind you, and so does Timo, and he's a little bit.
Why are you giving him? It's not even a full year though. That's why he gets a pass, I think, right?
Yeah, I just think the money part is the reason why there's so much expectation. And, he was scoring goals for Leipzig. Like, he scored a lot of goals.
That's why Arsenal fans were killing Pepe until the last, month and a half. Like, it was always the money.
Right.
Because without the money attached to it, it's like, okay, I mean, we saw it in this city with your boy Carson. It was the money. Once the money's involved, then it becomes an issue. Because now are they worth the money? And you can't always look at it that way. It's not your money.
Yeah. Well, expectation goes up exponentially with money. So I mean, you're signing a guy for $70 plus $80 million, and I mean, you're expecting.
If you never knew these, I guess, if you never knew these guys' salaries, if these salaries were never released, if salaries were always undisclosed, then the expectations probably would be tempered a lot more.
Right.
I would say. I mean, your expectations would clearly only be off of what you previously had seen. It wouldn't be off of, well, now we need you to perform at a $70 million rate. Like, that's not fair to always put on a guy. Like, you were willing to pay him that much. Like, if he's out there and he's giving you his all, it's one thing if they're out there dogging it. If you pay a guy that much money and you can clearly see they're out there dogging it, then that's an issue. But if you pay a guy that much money and he's out there working and he's doing everything he can and the results just aren't coming, then it may not. You can't always put that on him.
And again, Timo puts in the work. He's going to run around the whole game, but his finishing has been terrible. He gets in good positions. it's just even the whole team, like in and around that box is just you got to be able to be clinical and hit the net. At least make the keeper work.
Well, I'll tell you what the problem is right there. 5 goals for 60 million. You know what the problem is? You start spending the money again. We talked about this. We've talked about this before. Chelsea's the best thing that happened to Chelsea was that transfer ban. That's when Chelsea started to form into a team. That's when they really came together. That's when Pulisic was coming together. That's when they brought Tammy back off the Villa loan, and Tammy was playing great. Tammy was the best player the first 2 months of last season in probably all the Premier League. He was scoring more goals than anybody. And they united and they came together. And then that ban got dropped, and Roman's like, let me go spend a bunch of money on a bunch of guys that have never played together, that have no chemistry, and try and throw them all on a field. That'll work. And you're right back. I mean, you're getting results now. You're 4th in the Premier League, and you're still alive in Champions League. So I don't know, but you're messing with the chemistry too much sometimes. That money does damage more than good sometimes, because then you feel like it's too easy to give up on a guy because you're like, you know what? I'll just go buy another.
Yeah.
And guys do not get fair cracks, and then it becomes an issue.
Again, being Roman Abramovich is, the new shiny toy, which is Haaland out there. And Timo was that last year. It's like, ooh, let's get a guy that's going to score 30 goals for us. And, again, playing him in the right position. Not playing him out on the wing.
Well, he maybe didn't necessarily want to be starting on the left wing. That was
terrible first touch. That
was Frankie Nodi's decision.
Yeah.
Frankie Nodi was playing him on the left.
Same team. Way less goals. It's just like, how?
Yeah, way less goals going in, but way less goals
going in. Looking really good this year. That guy sucks.
Man. Because you've got a defensive coach instead of a guy that only knew how to play offense. That's the problem with offensive legends like Frank and Thierry Henry, is that these are guys that are they were so good offensively that they forget that, things are really built from the back. Like, you need goalkeeping, and you need to play defense, and the offense comes from that.
We talked about that, having the confidence of some competent goalie and not having Kepa back there last year, where you don't know what he's doing. He's not telling you where to go.
Well,
he's not making you feel any better. Like, at least there's some stability where it's like, okay, Mendy's at least helping me out. Even the Thiago Silva, having him in training as well. He might not be playing right now anymore, but at least having that veteran leadership and
he's probably there holding a clipboard, hey, you guys need to do this. You guys
I'm
need
sure
to do that.
Thiago Silva will be a coach sometime when his playing career is over.
Well, what do you think about that? Harry Kane, the shiny new toy.
I love HK, not just because he's on my fantasy team, but the guy scores goals. He's a good player. And he's having his best year statistically. I mean, he's got KDB assist numbers this year. Him and Sonny are just bouncing back on it's like hit HK to Sonny goal, Sonny HK goal. But I still like Haaland because he's clinical as well. If he's getting in, if he's around the net, that left foot, it's probably going in.
Yeah. He's not a Bundesliga only guy. Yeah, he's a guy that's going to have success all over.
And he's tall, and he's got those lanky-ass legs that he's a gazelle.
He has heart.
Yeah.
He has heart, man. He has heart.
He's cocky, but he has at least the work
rate. You can see he plays with it. Yeah, he plays with it. Lil Walker,
he's good.
I see what you're saying with the number of games, but, like, you're kind of missing injuries, I think, a little bit there, too. Pulisic's not playing all the time because he's not always fit.
it's hard to put faith in a guy that's, you're not sure if he's even going to be able to make it through,
like
a game.
He gets hurt a lot.
And you kind of have to not baby him, but you got to just be watchful, and that he doesn't, that hammy, that thing could be a lingering thing.
Yeah,
and you got to watch his minutes. They said that Frank Lampard said that from the beginning. You got to ease him into it. Again, injuries are an issue for him. Hopefully not long term, because he is Captain America. And again, you're right, Lord Walker. I heard Kai got hit pretty badly with COVID, actually.
Yeah.
Lingering symptoms, which it's a bitch, man. Ashley Cole. I loved Ashley Cole. We talked about Ashley Cole recently.
We did.
More as an Arsenal player, but
yeah,
he's a good Chelsea player. That's what they were saying as a debate I saw on Chelsea. It's like, who's the better striker? It was like Drogba, or I forget who the other one was. I'm like, oh. I'll never forget that Drogba header in that Champions League against Bayern. Oh,
I'm not a Chelsea fan, but I love me some Drogba. So,
well, that's from your Cote d'Ivoire love.
Yeah, I know. Speaking of, Crystal Palace is still up 1-0, and Zaha has done nothing. But they're still up 1-0, and West Brom stinks. So it's getting closer and closer to ending this way. We're 84th minute now, so time keeps on ticking.
I was going to say, you just know some of the results that are going to happen. Because Palace is like, well, if Zaha doesn't play, it's like, who scores?
Yeah, Zaha's been playing the whole game. Him and Christian been playing up top the entire game. They have a 2-striker set, and they have 1 goal on a PK from Milivojevic. So, against West Brom. And West Brom's not even playing, crazy defensively. They're playing a 4-1-4-1,
That's a crazy.
Oh, man. Drogba.
Who would you rather have,
Drogba
or Henry?
I have way too many Arsenal fans that watch this show.
You can't not say Henry.
It has to be Thierry Henry.
And I can't not say Drogba. But, I mean, Didier in his prime was really, really good. Also, Henry in his prime was very fucking good.
Yeah.
That's tough. I do love me some Drogba. He was the man.
Yeah. She said Drogba and Thierry Henry to Warner and Pepe. Yeah, it's a big drop-off. Big drop-off from where both these teams probably, have been as far as world-renowned
those
top
club
players.
Legends.
Yeah, world legend. I mean, just legends of the game in general. Yeah, so definitely a change.
Well, Chelsea's become that, again, shiny toy. Nobody sticks around for more than a few years, so you can't even establish yourself at the club.
I'm loving about West Brom right now is Maitland-Niles is getting a ton of minutes at a center midfielder spot.
Hey, Joe Willock started for Newcastle yesterday too.
Oh yeah, Maitland-Niles keeps starting. They're running this. He's one of the center midfielders in that 4-1-4-1, and he's just he's getting 90 minutes. That's what you want when your guys are going out on loan, at least, even if it's for a bad team in a bad situation. Really doesn't matter because at some point the loan's coming back, and then you're either selling him off with a higher value because he's showing you something. He's been good there. I'll take that positive, but that kind keeps ticking. So this is going to happen one of two ways. Yeah, either Crystal Palace is going to do what Palace always does, and they're going to leak that late goal to end up in a draw after they've controlled an entire game, or West Brom's just going to stink and not get anything out of this and be one step closer to relegation.
Mm-hmm.
Typical of both of these teams.
Indeed.
I'm taking a look at the old championship table again, see where the movement's lying today. There's a lot of good games going on in the championship. I was following their scores today too.
The Canaries
Bournemouth is losing. Canaries still leading the pack in the league. Yeah, Bournemouth is down 3-2 on Barnsley in the 87th minute right now, so that's been a banger. Watford's tied with Cardiff at 1. A couple of teams that are up there in contention. Reading's tied with Forest right now, but yeah, you still got Norwich leading the pack. They've yet to play this weekend. Swansea's still in second. They've yet to play. Watford is holding down that third. So the playoff spot right now, so Watford, Brentford, Reading, and Barnsley. Bournemouth is currently sitting 7th and out of the playoff right now. So
speaking of Barnsley, did you see that they offered
Daryl DK?
They offered 10 mil, and Orlando City said, "Nah, we want more."
Yeah, well, but apparently a top 6 club. I thought a top 6 club from the Prem offered like 10 mil.
He's a good player. He's built like Josie, but he's still very raw. But he just but Barnsley has been really good ever since he's came into the team.
He
I think
emerged.
Probably 15 mil. Hold out for.
You know where he emerged? He started to emerge in the tournament when your boy got the bench. Who's the one that who's the striker from Orlando that I hate?
I mean, there's a few hate the face ones.
Damn it, who was it? Who was the kid that I just don't like? And I got you got mad at me for talking bad about him too. Hold on, I'll figure it out. But that's where he emerged, because he finally got benched, and then he came in and he's been
a
college
really kid too, isn't he?
Yeah, dude. Like, we're out there looking for a striker. Like, we say that's probably the biggest weakness on the U.S. team, and
There's
right now
competition all of a sudden.
Yeah, like if I'm Berhalter, like this kid is definitely on my radar.
Yeah.
He's making some noise in Europe, even though it's in.
I think the championship's good. It's nothing crazy, but I think it's fun to watch.
I mean, think about it. These guys are they're playing for so much. Like, when you get into the top, like, 6 group at least, like, they're playing for a chance to move to the Prem.
Yeah.
Even if it's going to be for 1 year, like, those guys are really out there getting it and really out there giving everything week after week. I enjoy watching when I have the opportunity to watch those games. ESPN Plus has a lot of them.
Yeah, they have been. During the week especially. They'll throw like a nice random like Tuesday, like Swansea versus Bristol City or something.
Yeah.
It's not terrible. It's nice to have it's like any league. I mean, once you just like adopt a team, like I adopted the Forest, it's a lot more enjoyable.
I had adopted Leeds, and then they found their way up. So I haven't really. I guess I've readopted Norwich as they went down, since I adopted them in the Prem last year, and it did not work out. So.
Just going to be a Canaries fan.
Yeah, Stoke's always fun.
Yeah.
I like when they post some of these old like 80s top tables from like the top league, and you see like Millwall and like some of these teams that were once very significant.
Once good. Until oil money and other things came into play.
Yeah, unfortunately sometimes.
Those crazy Millwall racist guys.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, Blackburn is another one that took a shit. Wigan took a shit.
Yeah.
Some of these, I mean, Sunderland, you could say, did the double dip.
Adam killed Forest.
I did kill Forest. Bolton is in some serious trouble. They might go into whatever the word is when the league takes over for your squad, because you have like no money to pay your players anymore. Administration. There it is. Yeah, some of these, that's why we say every show, it's like, if you get relegated, you might not see the Prem for a long time.
Yeah, you may never find your way back.
And we're seeing that with some teams. You do the double dip, and all of a sudden, 2 years removed from the Prem, you're sitting in League One with no money, and it's like, man, we've fallen on some serious hard times. That's why it's important. Every game's important. There's no such thing as tanky.
Yeah, not here.
Not up in here.
You cannot tank here.
We'll get Lord Walker on. I don't know where you want to go next.
I was still trying to look up this. My computer was I was losing a little bit about.
Oh yeah, we were saying about Pulisic. That do you think it was a bad buy?
Well,
I was saying no. It's just I don't want to panic and overreact, because I think that the injuries have really set him back, and we know how good of a player he can be. Like, it's there, it's in there. It's just, confidence, man. It goes back to confidence. If you're not confident out on the field, you're probably not going to do very well.
No,
and he's definitely lacking that right now, unfortunately. But I think he'll bounce back. I think I'm just optimistic. That's just me.
It was Dom Dwyer.
Yeah.
You defended Dom Dwyer. You defended him. You gave him false.
He had one good year.
He's horrible.
Yeah,
horrible. Ever since they took him off the pitch, that Orlando team excelled.
Yeah, ever since he had maybe one good year with Sporting Kansas City.
Yeah.
Ever since then, he's just been.
Sorry, it was driving me crazy. My internet was going down, and I was digging.
I don't know how I forgot about Dom.
Maybe good old Dom Dwyer.
It's more like he's like Sidney LaRue's husband instead of the other way around.
Look at Lord Walker trying to. Look, he said we were saying Pulisic's a bust. Who said Pulisic's a bust? Who are you trolling?
Of course. Sancho coming into Chelsea and then Puli going right back. I don't want Puli to go back to Dortmund. They're going to be in trouble if they don't make Champions League. They're selling everybody. Gio's gone. Haaland's gone. Hopefully Guerrero gets his fair share now. Julian Brandt will go to Arsenal and suck.
He's not coming to Arsenal.
He's had a terrible season. He doesn't even play.
Actually, he's a German midfielder, so best chances he's going to Chelsea.
I hope not. I don't. Julian Brandt, poor guy.
So she's got Sancho coming to Chelsea, Haaland going to City, and Pulisic going to United.
I just have not seen Man United make a move for an American player. And you'd think that they would, because there's probably more Man City fans in the U.S. than any other Prem team. That would be the smart thing. But, Mr. Woodward isn't exactly the best chairman out there.
Yeah.
You don't get it. Hence why they keep striking out. They missed on Sancho last year. They missed on Haaland. Stop lowballing for some of these world-class players. It's disrespect. But yeah, tomorrow is the North London Derby. Let's get into that.
North London Derby brought to you by Body Check Wellness, a line of products that promotes wellness, balance, and recovery. And Arsenal hopefully is recovering well after their big game this week and is ready for this derby. Although I'm going to throw an opinion out there in a minute, and it's going to probably, jostle a few people. But, again, Body Check. Body Check Wellness, great company, one of the newer sponsors to A2D. You can check them out on bodycheckwellness.com. Enter promo code A2D for 20% off your order. It is the power of hemp. I'm a big proponent of hemp. I know you said you've used some hemp products in the past and they've been effective.
Yeah.
it's amazing. It's natural. They got extracts, blends, gummies, special topicals. For those of us, again, trying to get ourselves fit and back, it's a long road back, and anything to help with recovery is awesome. So, again, check out these guys on bodycheckwellness.com, A2D Radio.
Yeah, Riley Cote, former Flyer.
Yes.
Is involved with that company.
Yeah, so we are very happy to have them and all of our sponsors as well. So, North London Derby, you want to talk about it? Here's what I'm going to say. Some people might get mad at me.
Whoa.
Some people might.
I don't think Arsenal put up 4 goals at all. That's just me, though.
I was going to say I don't know if we have that in us. Honestly, here's my 100%
Go off.
Dead honest opinion at this juncture in the season and where we stand.
Yep.
It is a North London derby, so obviously, in the sense of that, I care tremendously because it's the Spurs, and fuck Spurs. Spurs are shit, and you never want anything other than to go out and just annihilate them, and especially with Mourinho there, and to see his miserable face, and to just handle your business and beat that team. Because it's like one of those teams where no matter what else you do during the season, that has to happen. Like, you have to get that win.
That's the game to get up for.
But, however, I don't give a shit. I do not care. What happens tomorrow is not going to make me jump off the Arteta bandwagon. What happens tomorrow is not going to upset me and ruin my day. What happens tomorrow is one of two things. They're going to play like shit, and I'm going to say, you know what? That's just typical of the Premier League this year for this team, and we're not doing anything anyway in this league, so let's just accept that and be over it. Or they're going to play well, and whatever. They beat Spurs, and I'm happy. But the ultimate goal right now is Europa, and they did what they needed to do on Thursday in Europa, and I am ecstatic, and I'm happy, and that's why I'm an elated Arsenal supporter today, because they handled their business, and that's it. And, you know, whatever happens tomorrow happens, and that's the first time, because of where everything's sitting and where everything's going on in this table in this season, I can say that comfortably. And people might be mad at me, but like I said, you want to win. You want to win every game, and especially this game. But I'll get over it if they don't show up tomorrow, to be honest with you. As long as they go back and beat Olympiacos and handle their business and continue to move through Europa with a chance for Champions League.
So you're focused on – you're over the league. You're just done.
Yeah, because there's no outlet to Champions League. I want to see Arsenal back in Champions League. Life, as we know it, is just so much better with Arsenal in Champions League. So, like, there's one outlet. Top 4 is not happening. Top 4 is not happening. It's just not. I don't think it's mathematically possible at this point, you know, unless everybody above them. Hey, I would just after my own heart. After
like
my
that.
own heart.
That's a troll job from CT. I like that.
And you know what? If CT really knows me, Hector Bellerin can go make a shirt. But
hey, there's the man, the myth, the legend.
I am not a Hector Bellerin kind of guy myself at this point. So
is anybody at Arsenal?
Somebody is.
Everyone's forcing them out.
Callum Chambers is getting starts at right back. So that what does that tell you at where their feelings are on Hector Bellerin? They're trying to keep him healthy till Juve can come spend some money. Juve or PSG?
No, he's not going there.
Hey, those were the two links so far.
I can't see Bellerin getting acclimated in Paris. Maybe he's very fashionable. I can see that actually.
The guy's out there killing the fashion game. He's just not killing the right back game. So,
what's up, Lord Walker?
Welcome, sir.
What is up, guys?
Good morning.
Yeah, absolutely. Good morning.
Very
for you, yeah.
Just
Sunday
afternoon
loss.
here.
You guys go 3 hours ahead of us when Sunday happens. So yeah,
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Arizona's that like in betweener.
yeah. All
Crazy. But yeah, we were just talking about the North London Derby.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm actually excited about it. Actually, it should be a really good matchup, and that's something that you probably couldn't have said, in recent memory.
Yeah. I mean, they're always good. It's like
that's
those.
not negative. Let me say that's not negative. That's just saying both teams are really showing some decent form and actually coming together.
Showing a little signs of life.
Yeah,
Definitely showing a little signs of life.
absolutely. And that's what you want to see.
Lord Walker is low.
Oh, okay.
Said
My mic's low.
Yeah. He's soft-spoken.
Damn.
I just ditched the mic because I don't want to hold it.
I'll turn my mic.
Mic gate. Mic stand gate.
Not everybody can be as loud as me. I understand.
That's tough.
It's a gift and a curse. It's a gift and a curse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear me better now?
Perf.
Definitely.
Okay. I have to get a little closer to the mic, I guess.
I like that kit, by the way. That's a nice.
Oh yeah.
That's a nice one. Like that one.
Definitely always represent US.
Oh yeah.
No, I was just saying that basically I'm in agreement with you. I said I think it's finally a good matchup that with two teams that are starting to finally pull some form together. I really have been noticing, and this is something that you probably don't want to hear, but Spurs, I believe, if Bale can find form and can really come together, that you've seen him in really some of the big matches, Spurs could win some silverware this year, and it's a definite possibility, and you're right about Arsenal as well.
I mean, at this point, and I don't even want to. I can't say. It's hard to say the words. I would probably put Spurs as the Europa favorite still.
Yeah, I know it's tough. I understand.
But I mean, yeah, I mean the winner of United, AC Milan, and Spurs are. But like really, like aren't. I mean, Eddie's going to kill me that I don't include his Rangers, and my Arsenal people are going to kill me that I don't include them yet. But I still can't totally throw them in that mix yet. Not 100% yet. Like on paper, those are your two favorite or three favorites, I guess.
Right.
But,
And also,
yeah.
fan, what gave it away that I'm a Liverpool fan?
Your proud display of trophies.
Yeah, maybe something on those.
There could be like a joke that starts like this: an Arsenal fan, a Liverpool fan, and a Chelsea fan walk into a room.
Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah.
True. I don't know where it would go. Collectively.
Oh, I never asked Sita too. Where are you from? Where are you joining us from? Like, where did you find us, and where are you literally sitting at watching us? Because I like to know where everybody ventures in from. It makes my heart feel good to get that pool of.
Oh, Malaysia.
Nice.
Look at that. See, I love that pool. I love that when we're getting people from all over. Like, that's why we're here. That's why Adam and I did this. We want the global aspect. We love our American people, and we want to educate them and bring them in and have them join the love of this game. But we also want the people that really love this game, that grew up loving this game, that this is their game. You know what I mean? Like, that's what this is all about. So I'm
Absolutely
really happy to have you here.
Is she a fellow Chelsea fan? Is that what she is that the badge she represents?
I'm gathering. It seemed that way.
I think so.
It almost seemed like she was an Arsenal fan, but I feel like she was just trolling the shit out of me. Yeah.
I said the Pulisic talk. Bring the Chelsea people in. Bring them in.
So real quick, I know we didn't get you on for a ton again this week. When we left it last week, it was going to be, wait through the week to see how you're feeling. You had two games, and it was like, let's see what happens in these two games, and you can probably get a better vibe of how a Liverpool fan feels right now. and you go out and you lose again at home to Fulham, 1-0. But then you come back and you just handle Leipzig like they're nothing, and you move on in Champions League. So, like, are you in the same spot that you were last week? Like, has anything changed?
I think the biggest thing that has changed is simply Fab moving back to the midfield, and you saw our midfield really take form in that Leipzig game, and you saw the difference. Because let's not get it twisted, Leipzig is in second place in the Bundesliga and pushing and making Bayern work for it this year. You know, so don't undercut that. And there was some interesting play by their team. I mean, Nagelsmann is one of the hottest coaches, on everyone's tongues as to coming in to be a replacement for anyone. So I thought it was great to see the form that we showed in the Champions League. I thought it was really cool to have the replacements and everything that we need to do. Big thing that's changing, Liverpool will play. I got to know what badge does she represent? I definitely want to know that one because she even dropped the Man City fan. All right. But yeah, it's more so we have a difference in this year in that we finally have somewhat abandoned the sense of, all right, we have a back line that we're just going to trust now, and hopefully, injuries don't continue to bite us because that's what has been our biggest crutch this year. And, we get it all together and we could really make a push. We're a dangerous team when we want to be, and we have the potential to be. And even with the injuries, we still are a formidable team. And I don't think anyone can say different of that. It's just that, it hurts when some of the players that are down are some of our most important players. And I say that because you look at Manchester United, for instance, their form as of late without Pogba is so noticeable. And, heaven forbid Bruno goes down. Or heaven forbid, something along those lines goes down on their team. The world would be over. They are lost. They are definitely lost. Yeah. But they have a quality team. Manchester United is a good team. I'm not saying that they're not, but I'm just saying when those things happen, those things really, really pull the strings of where your team is going to go forward.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. And now we got the full story. It appears it's his. This is actually his girlfriend's account. His phone ran out of battery. And he is a Chelsea fan and came here for Pulisic. So hey, that's always welcome too. So, but to go back and touch on what Lord Walker said, I mean, I agree, man. I think Liverpool's still alive. Definitely in the
absolutely.
It's there's enough time left that they're still alive in the top four race. I was just saying right before you jumped on as an Arsenal supporter, I don't think there's probably enough. There's not enough for us. There's just so like where I said this game tomorrow, like
there's a sliver.
Yeah, there's a sliver. Mathematically, if you did the math and you broke it down, oh, absolutely. There's still 30 points or so left out there. So. But I just, the way the league is and the way everybody else is playing above them, it would be hard to make up that kind of ground.
Okay. The four players that you just listed in that obviously show that
say
that they're anywhere on the lines of
this guy.
The players that have come out.
No, Conte does.
That's sad.
Conte, but see, Conte's at a different stage in his career too. Like Conte is the only name in there, honestly, that deserves the same type of respect as like a Van Dijk.
Yep.
That's it. Those other three, as much as I love Pulisic, I'm
the only one. I'm not a Chelsea fan.
Let's be real,
I'm the only one defending him on here, saying that he is by far.
Hey,
Again,
I said? I worded it very carefully. I said that was not necessarily my thought. Was that a possibility?
I thought I heard the on ESPN saying that you guys called him a bust. Yeah. Kicking It
I would never
Stateside
say that.
officially calls Christian Pulisic
I'm not
No.
that crazy.
career over at 22.
No.
You know?
No, I said I hope Christian Pulisic
He's not Freddie
is not. I said he's not. I'm praying that he's not a prototypical American who's going to go and think that, things should be handed to him and that he's got to work his ass off and get back onto the field. And he's got to take over a leadership role. That's what I'm saying. I'm just hoping it's not the case.
I'm going to retort that in that, look, Christian is a really hard worker. I know he's a great person, great guy. He's been working since he's, 16 years old, with like the progress of knowing what it is to be in that upper echelon of play. And I just have an issue with Tuchel is still saying things like, hey, he's still that super sub. And I'm like, you have not watched the Premier League, obviously, then. Because he's not a super sub. He's a starter, period. He's one of the best players on this Chelsea team. It's the same bias that goes on left and right when it comes to American players. That's why I brought up what Pirlo's doing for McKinney. It's like, look, these players are established. They're good, solid players. When you say comments like that, that's knocks against their real progress. And that's what.
But then my question is the decision based off of their play?
Well,
or is it something that they're not doing in the locker room or on the pitch as a leader that's keeping them out of those positions? Because they can play.
I don't think so. I think look, I could see it but from Lampard only because, Lampard's old school. He has a lot of different things, but even Lampard played him, okay? Even he still played him. Okay.
He was having good success under him.
Exactly. He was starting him. And because Lampard has finally said he's one of our best players. There's a reason why that he was playing Tammy, for instance, and people was getting all this pushback to push Timo in there, push Kai in there. And it's like, great, but those players aren't playing at the same levels that your Hudson-Odois are playing, or those types of players on Chelsea. And by not saying or showing those allegiances, then you really have it against this player, and that's what's going on with Christian. He's not getting opportunities when he's warranted opportunities. Mm-hmm. And you look at it, and I understand because you look at and money has such a huge issue in it. The reason why we didn't go for Warner is because I believe he's making. I had the number. I think it was like $220. No, he's making $280,000. No, $300,000 a week for someone that's never shown 1 ounce of brilliance in the Prem, much less brilliance as on his German squad against the Premier League teams. So you have to really put in the pressure that the board puts on you to say, I'm paying Timo $300,000. I'm paying Kai Havertz $280,000 a week. Okay? Yeah. And I'm paying Pulisic $220,000 for a player that has shown progress and real numbers in this league. And he's making $60,000 to $80,000 less. That's something. That shows where and what you believe in that player. And that's why I'm not having any American hate or I'm not saying you're hating, but I'm not having any American jabs at us because he's a good player. And we don't even think go with the American bias angle of it. He's just a good player. And there's no way that you would say different. And that's the
at this point, if he's not going to be getting the time, I want him out of there. I'm okay with him leaving there. It was never, but it doesn't change. I still think it was. Never said it was a bad deal. I think the deal needed to happen. It was a good deal, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean he's got to stay there and let it continue on the path that it's continuing on. Maybe it's time to make a move somewhere else, where someone else is going to give you an opportunity.
If there's a disconnect with him and Tuchel, then move on. But if they can work it out, then figure it out.
Tuchel, what if I said to you from your previous job, hey, you know what? I was your boss at a previous job, and you guys worked well, but you worked well in the role that you had at your previous job. Now that you're at a new place, new line of work, and I'm your boss again, and I tell you, I'm going to continue to have that same biased role that I had for you in your previous job and not assert the facts of where and what you established in your current job. That's where the disconnect is. And that's all.
Well, then you got to go work for a new company. Well, then it's time to go work for a new company.
You possibly do. You possibly do.
Or hope that boss, or hope that boss doesn't make it. Yeah, one or the other.
Which is on an 18-month contract. It's not like he was going to be here. Not like he was in the plans. Chelsea treats their players the same way they treat their coaches, and it's just a cutthroat. Now that's the only thing I would say is why I didn't really like that he went to Chelsea, because Chelsea will splash the cash. Doesn't matter how much it costs. You know, whether your wages are high or whether the transfer fee is high, they have the pockets to do anything they want, and they go after anything and everything that anyone else wants, and that's what we saw with Timo and Kai. Okay, because there was no way that any of us had on our radar that Chelsea should or needed to have those two players, especially when they're looking at getting Haaland in, and it's like,
it was.
What's that say about Warner? What does that say about?
I think it was more Kai, right, Adam? Like, if we go back when that all started to come, it was really more Kai than anything.
Yeah.
Kai was on the radar, but like Timo, Adam said it earlier in the show. Timo got on the radar because Abramovich didn't want him to go to Liverpool, so he just raised the price.
Right.
That was all.
Kai was the big dog that Chelsea was after, because he's making like
more for him.
75 mil or 80 mil, I think.
They paid more
He's taking way more,
for Timo.
That was, I think, Roman's number one thing. And then once Liverpool was like, we don't want to pay as much that, Timo thinks he was at or worth. Right. Then Roman's like, well, we have that kind of cash. You could come play for us. Yeah. And he's like, sure, I'll come play for you guys. Sure. There's a little list. I'll play for you guys.
The coach, not looking into whether the coach really wants him there. Not looking into whether he even fits the system that's in place. Not looking into any of those things. Because you're right. Hey, I would love to see Timo on Liverpool, because I believe that would be he would fit our system amazingly well, and that's why I believe that was such a great fit, and that's why it probably was such high in the headlines. But realistically, he's at Chelsea, and now he's got to form fit that square peg into that round hole. And
you might be able to get him cheap.
You know what? I would rather have Coutinho. Look, there was something I really wanted to point out is this, and this is what I'll say. Barca is $1.4 billion in debt. $1.4 billion in debt. They have $322 million that they have to pay by June, I believe. Okay.
Did their former president get arrested this week?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's
keep getting hit in the face.
Stop cooking the books.
It's coming. Yeah. No. This massive Barca overhaul sell-off is coming.
It should.
You're going to be able to get some players on a pretty good number, I think, coming up from some veterans.
The Ansu Fati Barcelona team.
They might luck out and have Spain, the country, bail them out.
Of course,
because that's how big they are. They're too big to fail for soccer, and especially when it comes to the Spanish league. And that's sad that you let this team grow and grow and grow.
That would be the ultimate fuck you to Barcelona. He's been with Barcelona since he was 14 or something like that. Right. And to say, fuck you, or I'm going to Madrid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's never happening.
Never.
No.
But, I mean, that's as likely as Kane going to Chelsea, okay? But, seriously, if you look at these numbers, and big ups to my Philly Sports Passion 85, you never walk alone, it's bigger of the fact that Barca owns all this money and everything else and everything, but you really have to look at money when it comes to really evaluating where and what direction a lot of these teams are going to go, what direction it plays on how you play, unfortunately, because a lot of times when contracts are in your mind, you do play or not play to your fullest. And, Barcelona, for instance, owes Liverpool $35 million still on this Coutinho signing. $35 million still left to pay. At this point, I'm just like, you know what? Just give him back.
Yeah.
We'll call it good.
Keep the money. Yeah.
Keep the money. Cool. Give him back, and we're good. Because he's making I think he's on $120,000 salary a week. Or it's around there, something like that. 120, 135,000, around there, something like that. And that figure alone is still less than like Timo or Kai once again for a player.
Oh yeah, when Coutinho was linked to Arsenal, I was all favor. Like for that price, absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, and let me say this: there was a bunch of stuff that Hot Goss I had from before. It's still relatively smoldering right now. This is the fact that I believe that Koulibaly possibly might come to the Prem. I'm hoping that he comes possibly to Liverpool, which would be cool, because I know that they're apparently talking about how his his asking price has been cut from $100 million.
Oh, that's good. Finally,
to $45 million.
Oh,
wow! I guess
that's a nice.
I guess after like 7 years of toying with him coming, they finally decided to get something out of it. Maybe.
Because you're looking at
I mean, you might as well at this point. Yeah, he's getting a little older.
The past 6 years he's been linked to the Prem, and it's like, no, he's holding out for $100 million or so.
I've been dying to see him.
And nobody's like,
he is a great talent too. Like I don't want people to get it twisted. Like it doesn't matter where he's been playing. Yeah, like he's a hell of a defender.
Yeah,
but now he's almost like 30 already, though. So it's like
exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what though, center backs though do really start to peak later than your forwards.
Oh yeah.
So
absolutely.
So that's something that is a positive for him. But there's things like that. I'm actually hopeful that they might even sign one of the Inter center backs. But I also know that they're high on Konate. I think it's Konate.
Yeah.
Konate, yeah.
Is that the other guy at Leipzig?
I know Arsenal's kind of high on Konate too. But we never. I need a world class. I need a center back, man.
Yeah,
they're hard to find.
Yeah. But even when you think you found them, you don't know if you did or not. Like it's like you said, a lot of them come into their own later. That's not an easy position to play, man. It's especially in this league with the amount of speed that's in the Premier League and
physical.
Like that's again even when Chelsea made the Thiago Silva signing, it's like Jesus, Thiago Silva has been an incredible center back. He's one of the best center backs I've watched in a long time. But at 36 years old, is Thiago Silva still is he able to run with this league? And in the beginning, you didn't really see it. He was making some mistakes. He looked a little
Can I ask you both
flat-footed?
A question of do you say the same about Ronaldo or Messi?
I've already said Messi can't come to the Prem. I've already said it.
Wow, really?
Ronaldo could come back to the Prem. Ronaldo could. We were talking earlier. I don't know if you saw it. Ronaldo's got one. Yeah. He's got one more stop. After losing again, Juventus losing again, he's not going to be there. He's not ending his career there. He's going to have to make another stop. He's going to make one more. Where's it going to be? Is he going to come back to? Is he going to come back to the Prem? Is he going to go back to Madrid? Is he going to come to the MLS?
If he came to MLS, that'd be huge. That'd be
where's that stop going to be? But Messi,
Miami.
Messi now.
Miami.
Messi comes to the Prem. Messi's going to get bullied. Messi will get bullied in the Prem.
Well, it goes back to comfort
I've said it, and I've said it.
Messi would never come to the Prem and deal with that physicality. There's no way.
Wow.
He wouldn't.
Wow.
He would get bullied.
He's afraid.
You imagine? Hold on. Let me put it in your perspective, right? From your team's perspective. Yeah. Messi comes to break down the side, right? You're at full health. Mm-hmm. This is next year. Liverpool's at full health.
Right.
And Messi comes to try to break down that wing, and he's staring Robertson, Van Dijk, and Hendo closing in on him. Mm-hmm. And one of them comes at him full blast. Is Messi? Is he going to accept that at 34 years old? Is he going to be able to handle that? He's not going to get the love from the refs because he's not a Premier League guy. So they're not just going to give.
Would he get the same respect? Would he get the same?
He's not going to get that respect. He's not going to get that respect.
So good. You guys should have started to show off with this.
I know,
dude. We've had this. We've had this show.
Oh
we can
do it again. We can do it again next week. I've done this.
Oh my god!
Well, it wouldn't be a bad idea next week because there's no Prem.
Yeah, what would you say? I'm sorry.
There's no Prem next week, so it could be the topic of debate. We can
do it next week. We'll have more Champions League. We can do it again.
We
can do it again.
We've had the Messi Ronaldo, and that was like one of our best shows because everybody wants to listen to talk about Messi Ronaldo. He's the GOAT for sure, but
if he came up to you, to Chelsea, you're the owner of Chelsea, you're the owner of Arsenal, and he goes, "Hey, can I play with you guys?" He'd be like, "Yes, I'm in. Absolutely. Come on."
I got to be honest. Right now, I probably would say no.
Wow. Oh, I was at the Home Alone face. Oh my gosh. Wow. Are you
10 years ago? Sure.
Oh, come on. Yeah, 10
Even
years
like
ago,
4
sure,
years ago,
absolutely.
I'd be like, sure, come on down.
Sure. Look, Messi's hand-tied.
And he still would have got bullied. He still would have got bullied.
The only hand-tie Messi brings with him is his wages. His weekly wages is the only hand-tie. Other than that, Messi is a soccer god. And
for sure.
There's no way, I would say that at all. Messi, even at his age, or Ronaldo at his age as well, I would still think contribute. And I think that he hasn't done as poorly as people think. It's just that people have him at such a godlike, bar when it comes to rating him against other players. Because he is still, even at his diminished, if you want to put it, status, he still is diminished numbers, I would say.
One of those guys is going to PSG next year. I don't know which one. They're the only one that could afford him.
Exactly.
At least Messi.
Exactly. Well, we're not.
Or Man City.
I heard
Mbappe to Madrid.
What's that?
Mbappe to Madrid. Mbappe to Madrid.
I know that could possibly happen. But look, Real's not in much better financial shape as Barca is.
Gone.
Yeah, I know. But they're gonna do it. They're gonna do an overhaul. I think. I think, there's. I don't know what they have to overhaul. I guess they're gonna hope guys like Odegaard keep playing pretty well for Arsenal, and maybe somebody writes them a paycheck there, and they're gonna have to do something. Yeah, I mean Luka Modric. I mean, at some point he's got to go, but his value is not there anymore. I mean, they've held on to guys a little too long. Unfortunately, they just
both teams are getting a little long in the team.
Yeah,
look,
but my only thing with Messi was, and I've said it, and I've said it, and I've said it, was he quit on Argentina twice. He crybabied himself twice off his national team.
Oh, international break week is going to be fun to talk.
Oh yeah, I'll have the shirt on too. I haven't worn it in a while.
Yeah,
so
man.
I know I really wanted to get to the men's national team, but maybe we could save that for.
We'll save that for next week, and we'll go more national team and Champions League, and
since we don't really have Prem to talk about next week.
Yeah,
show no American bias at all.
We'll get Lord Walker on early too. We'll really spice this one up.
Oh, yeah.
It's an interesting roster. It's some of these MLS guys that still have something to prove, and maybe that some of those guys will make the World Cup team.
Yeah.
very little.
I like the approach to the Olympics.
No, a lot of teams aren't letting go of their players too, though. I mean, I don't know if is Pulisic on coming. Is he leaving? Do you know if they're letting him go to go play for U.S. men's national team? Because a lot of teams aren't going to do it. I know that Liverpool is not going to let their players go on internet, or supposedly so, not going to allow for.
Does the U.S. have a friendly during that? I haven't even looked.
I don't
know. We'll have to dig into that, but I don't think so. I honestly think like Olympic wise, you're gonna get a very rotated. I would if I was Berhalter, I wouldn't even want to bring those guys. Like you want to compete in the Olympics, you want to do great, but like especially in a COVID with everything going on, and like I feel like this is a perfect opportunity to use the Olympics as like. Let's see what everybody else has to offer. Yeah, I think what your 11 and your 18 is. It's all your European guys that are, that when you brought them in earlier this year or end of last year, they dominated. They came in and they dominated. So, this is an opportunity, I think, to look at everybody else.
The Olympic squad is all kids under 23, probably with the MLS. I think I saw Sebastian Soto, the Norwich kid.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's a lot of guys that are just trying to make a little bit of a name for themselves. I mean, Yuli Linez is a good player, but
yeah, I like Yuli.
He's kind of had an interesting European experience. He goes to Wolfsburg, gets loaned out, then gets called back pretty quick from wherever he was at. I think Heerenveen, maybe in the Netherlands, maybe he's at. But
yeah, there's a couple kids playing in the Netherlands.
It's an interesting lineup that will, or pool, I guess, that Mr. Berghalter.
Well, then we'll plan on all that for next week. We'll get that all set up for next week. We'll go some international talk.
Yeah, because today was pretty
talk, a little bit of everything.
We went a little nuts with Pooley, but it's a good topic to have because I'm not on the ledge yet. He's going to be okay.
He's a good player.
I love the guy. I swear I'm the one who dubbed him freaking Captain America. So
you guys trending on Twitter with that statement.
Let's do it. I just want him out of Chelsea. Let's go. Get him out of Chelsea.
Okay, we'll see. If the rest of the year is the way it's looked for the last few months, then yes. But he just needs some confidence. He just needs a little kick in the butt, I think.
He'd look better in red.
Well, what's your yellow and red cards then? I know you guys are getting close to the end of the show here.
I know. I've had it written down. I don't even remember. I go through the week and I'm like, oh, that seems like interesting topics.
Right.
There's nothing. I mean, what was the one I remember? The one that happened a little bit ago, it was the Ipswich game. Did you see that? The ref and the one guy almost got into a fight in a League One match.
Yeah, I did.
And now, I think a month later, the ref finally can start reffing again. And then now at first the player was like, no, it was more me. I was the guy, the instigator. Now he's reversing what he said and saying the ref was calling him the C word and stuff. And it's oh, so then you had a reason to go after him after the ref stepped up to you and was about to swing on you.
Yeah, that's really unprofessional.
That was just something that I saw as kind of a yellow card. It's well, are you making stories up? What's the deal? Get your story straight.
Mine actually happened this morning, and I'm not going to make it a red card or a yellow card. I'm going to go with what Adam and I have dubbed in the past, and we all every once in a while pull out a green card, and we green light something as opposed to put something down. And I'm a big proponent in, if you believe in something and you believe something is right, that you should do it because it's your life and you only live once. And I believe in everything that's been going on as far as the protests and everything we've talked about. And we're not going to dig deep into it. But this morning, Wilfried Zaha has been made public knowledge for about a couple weeks now that he was done with taking the knee. And he's done with taking the knee because, like he said, nothing is getting done. We're all out here taking a knee. Awesome. It looks great. But what's still going on? Week after week after week, we're getting racially abused. We're getting abused left and right on social media. So what is this knee actually accomplishing? So today he was the first one in the West Brom game in the Premier League to not take a knee before the contest. And, he's getting some heat. He's probably getting yellow and red card left and right now for it. But I give the man credit because he's right. It's one thing to stand up for something, but when you're standing up for something, then there needs to be action. And this league doesn't, all these leagues, I think, they're trying to use it as hey, we're for this and we're for that. But then, what are you doing about it? What are you actually doing about it? What money are you contributing to help with this? What programs are you building to make this better? What consequences are you going after these people for that are continuously abusing these guys after you've gone through all this? So I give that man some credit. And again, maybe it's my love for Ivorian soccer players, and maybe it's all of that. But Wilfried Zaha, good for you for standing up for something you believe in, bro. So.
No, I agree with everything that you've said, and difference is showing an actual actions speak louder than words type aspect of approaching it. But I also know that's great you brought that up, because my red card from last week, and again it continues. Okay, continue on to this week because it's just news of his basically how he was treated in Dallas was, basically how Reggie Cannon has some comments that come out about how when they were booed and the things that were said and epithets that were thrown out to them for taking a knee in Dallas for Dallas FC. Look, FC Dallas then approached him and said, "Here, read this," and gave him something to read to downplay it, to give the fans somewhat a pass, things such as that. And it's kind of like one of those situations where you're like, look, it exists, like as in teams know where they are, owners know their own personal opinions and viewpoints of like how they view the racial struggles that we go through in this country and in the world alone. And for Reggie Cannon, who's now playing in Portugal, to come out and say, he's explaining to his fellow team mates, saying how his wife was threatened, he was threatened, things such as that are going on. That's ridiculous. And where we are as coming to an evolution of acceptance of people regardless of their ethnic background or their religious backgrounds and things such as that, there should be some real action, and look, it goes further than just taking a knee. But I do still support everyone that does take a knee for the sheer fact that if anyone tunes in and says, why are they taking a knee? They can at least be informed of, look, this is what we're fighting. This is what's going on.
Right. I'm not against it. Like I said, if you're in favor of something one way or another, I'm a big believer in, kind of doing it and standing up there. So I give him credit for his and on Reggie, man, I'm a huge Reggie Cannon fan, and to see him get out of Dallas was so like a great moment for me after knowing, some of the stuff that went down there. I didn't know that until you told me now, but just knowing how it was perceived when the knee had, and I know that they did come out. I didn't know how deep it necessarily was.
Oh, it got deep.
I remember that.
Article. It's been reported, well reported, and it's something of like, it's just because we don't get to go, or not all the time at least, we seldom get to, as fans, get to go behind the scenes. We seldom get to get into that coach's office or that owner's office. We don't see those things. We don't see the things that goes on in the locker room. We don't see all the things that once you step off the bus, what exactly is being thrown at these players and such, or what is being thrown onto the field and such, at times. And all those things are a real reflection of how far we still have to go. And all of us working together to make it not have a place or even have air to breathe is something I look forward to. And I hope that and I know you guys are so well into supporting those efforts, because you definitely highlight those things and you're not afraid to really take on the tough subjects. So I do appreciate that.
I think you got to get out in front of it and, speak up. Again, actions speak louder than words, and I think there's still a long way to go, but
we just need more action.
But I mean, on the social media side, at least they're starting to get like the moderators to, sort of police it, but it's so hard to police everybody on social media.
Are you kidding me? It just happened in a prep game. I was reading that today. It was like there was some prep, I think it's a prep basketball game in America.
Oh, you heard that too?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, he didn't know his mic was
again,
on.
Another hot mic situation where they don't know the mics are on and they say something crazy.
And that's
somebody's true color coming.
It says so much. I mean, like, and then for you to like, he used that he was his diet. He has diabetes, which is nothing to laugh at, but that he used the fact that his diabetes were the cause for him saying the racist things that he said.
I didn't know the wires crossed when you're.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah. Well, you don't want to watch this commercial. That's perfect. That's supposed to be racing. Come on.
It was mind-blowing.
Mike's,
People blow your mind, man.
and that's one of the first things you learn when you get into the industry. It's like mics are always hot.
Sure.
Yeah, but it's not even a hot mic thing. Like, that's just how that dude, that's how that dude feels. Like, that's how,
Right. Mics are
And it
hot.
got
He shouldn't be saying things that, only if there was no microphone, you'd have an on mic presence and an off mic presence. That's what you're trying to say?
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. Mainstream, they're all over the place, man. That's why we do this too.
If that mic wasn't on, that guy's a piece of shit.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Exists. I mean, Weston's been saying that he's been getting it in Italy,
Oh, well, you knew that. I mean, come on.
Heck, I don't even know. I mean, I wouldn't even go as far as to maybe say, his house being broken into might have been,
I'm
somewhat.
sure it had something to do with it.
Dude, of all the UV players to break into, you choose his house.
One of the best players to play in Italy in the last 20 years, and Balotelli is hated by his own people. So, I mean,
we know the Italians aren't.
Yeah. That's well.
That's a whole nother issue.
Oh yeah, we've had that one too. Italians make us look good, man.
Even when they try to apologize, they f up so hard.
It's horrible.
With the Lukaku situation,
training or just you are less likely to hold racist beliefs if you engage with people of different colors and different people of different nationalities or ethnicities or religious
backgrounds. Been doing it my whole life, man.
The more you throw diversity into the fold and you get to learn and understand that humans are just that, humans, period. Yep. Then, we'll eventually get one step closer to bridging that gap. But, it's going to exist. Unfortunately, there's some people that say no. So I've always looked at it. There's a lot of other reasons to like and hate somebody other than just outside appearance. Let the actual person determine that. There are just genuine jerks out there.
No,
or whatever. For sure. So All right. Well, let's get out of here. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, we got a whole show on that.
We're gonna we'll kind of tie it all into next week's show. We'll have a lot to talk about next week.
It's a big open forum next week since there's no league matches. I think there's some FA Cup, but
can we talk about let's talk about some transfers since that was the hot chat subject. Everyone had people going here, going there, and wish lists.
Always silly season never ends.
Those are some serious Santa wish lists with the game.
Oh yeah,
the pipe dreams never stop.
Messi going to Real, so yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's been a good topic again. I mean, we've good Pooley talk again. I'm not on the ledge yet. I have faith in my boy. He's gonna persevere.
And we appreciate everybody that joined us today, and especially, our new one from Malaysia. We appreciate having you. Same time every week, other than when every once in a while we pop on. But like and subscribe. I see that you're on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. Let people that that love this game know about us. Like and subscribe. It's all we ask. Very simple. We love having you here, and we appreciate everybody.
The chit chat too.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, it's been a good topic of conversation today. Always fun. Lord Walker, again, thanks, man, for jumping on.
Thanks for having me on.
We'll have to have you on for a full show, maybe next week or the next 2 weeks when we talk more international and kind of dig into more of the international pool and what we can expect, even for World Cup qualifying for the U.S. Sure. So we'll try and do that.
Awesome.
But again, thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks to all the new people who tuned in to this week. We appreciate it. Again, subscribe at K-Stateside on Twitter, Kickin It _Stateside on Instagram, and Facebook, Kickin It Stateside. You could always drop a DM and hit us up. Any good topics you have, we'd love to talk about it. So, everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy this nice weather, and we'll see you guys next week. Love y'all.
Hey, let's go. Fuck Spurs.